have been putting off this video for a long time because in my video where I talk about the black girl that never was in Teen Wolf, a lot of people were saying that they wanted this video, but a lot of people said that they want a lot of things but then they don't actually tune in for it. So I was like really scared to film this video. And then because of Sinners and just like the resurgence of like vampire media in general, people have been talking about vampires, and me and one of my close friends were actually talking about Bonnie Bennett last night, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, there is no better time to talk about Bonnie Bennett and the Vampire Diaries than there is now. I have no idea what I'm gonna title this video. This script is literally 6 months old. I wrote this in August at 10 a.m. and I'm pretty sure I hadn't been asleep when I wrote this script. I'm gonna be real. Like, I think I was about to go to bed because I have insomnia. My name is Mayana. Welcome to Mayo Core. I like to talk about books and a lot of other media when I feel the need to. Let's just get into it. Basically, I don't know what prompted me to write this script. I think I just like seen like a random tweet and I was like, I'm gonna make a video about, I think about Bonnie and Damon almost like once a week. Most of my ships are not in game. I literally have a video about Dan and Blair from Gossip Girl. If you want to see like some more like videos where I talk about my non-in-game ships, like please let me know because I have so many. Like pretty much all of my ships are like not in game. Even Veronica and Logan from Veronica Mars. Like what? I don't know. I think I'm just cursed. I don't know, but I think I see what the writers don't care to see. So anyways, most of my ships are not in game. So I was thinking about Bonnie and Damon, as I always do. They were just like, I don't know, they were my #1 ship in high school. Actually, I shipped Bonnie with pretty much anybody I could ship her with, mainly with her being like the only black main character in the Vampire Diaries, and because I loved her so much and I saw a little bit of myself. I don't know, the way that she sacrificed herself, I don't know if I really see myself like that in her, but for the most part I saw myself in her, right? I just loved her. And I actually don't like Damon. I'm actually not a Damon fan girl. I actually don't like Damon, Stefan, or Elena, but I was tuned into the Vampire Diaries every week. Like, that's my show. I love it bad. I love anything with like vampire, witches, and werewolves. I love like supernatural media, despite me never seeing Supernatural. A lot of contradictions going on here, okay? I never gave a fuck about Damon, right? But I just shipped Bonnie and Damon so much because I saw what was there, and also I know that they were supposed to get together in the books. Like, I know that. Before I really get into this video, I just want to say that I know there are people out there who ship Bonnie and Enzo and that's just their main ship and they're just so happy with that. They're probably wondering like why I don't just ship Bonnie with like Enzo instead of Damon. But honestly, I was like, I've been a shipper of Bonnie and Damon since like season 3, so that's like always been in me. So like that's why like I ship Enzo and I ship Bonnie with everybody, to be honest. Like whoever makes her the most happy is with I ship her with. And you have to remember that I've been watching the Vampire Diaries I was watching the Vampire Diaries as it aired, so a lot of my feelings toward these things are like feelings that I had as a teen, or they're just like, yeah, they're pre-existing feelings. So like I always felt like Jeremy cheating on Bonnie was just like so like out of character, but like whatever. I shipped her with Cole, I shipped her with Jeremy, I shipped her with Klaus. I shipped Caroline and Klaus as well, but like I don't care. I shipped her with Kai, I shipped her with Enzo, I shipped her with Damon. My main ship though is Bamon. Like whenever I'm like down and I want to read a fan fiction, I'm gonna read a Bamon fan fiction. Whenever I'm writing something, I'm pretty much writing something with the dynamics of Bamon. I love Bamon. They're seen as like soulmates from like majority of the fandom if they're not racist, and I don't mean romantic soulmates either. Like if you don't actually ship Bamon and you like think that they're soulmates, like you think that they're like platonic soulmates, because they're just like written like that well. And it's just like so crazy because like from the start of the show, like they fucking hate it. They could have been enemies to lovers. Excellent, you guys. They could have been enemies to lovers. Excellence. But Julie Plec wants to be a hater. Like, okay girl. I think that like my shipping of them stems from the fact that like I knew from the jump that they got together in the books. So I was like hoping that they like, I'm like, oh yeah, like I wasn't hoping, I just knew they were gonna get together in the show. Bonnie and Damon are gonna get together because they get together in the book, so why wouldn't they get together in the TV show? Lo and behold, Julie Plec is over here taking Bonnie and Damon scenes from the book and giving them to Damon and Elena. What? So I'm over here shipping them from the jump, but also like I just think that they're like enemies to lovers, like excellent, but actually enemies to friends to lovers, which like I personally don't really care for like enemies to friends to lovers because I don't like the fluff in the middle. But like Bonnie and Damon have that like enemies to friends to lovers so perfectly, and I think I don't like that fluff in the middle, because I feel like their dynamics, like when enemies to lovers become friends, like when they have that friendship in the middle, their dynamics change. They're just so much nicer to each other. But the reason why I like Bonnie and Damon is because their banter is still there. Like Damon is still that like annoying douchebag guy who just is so full of himself, and then Bonnie is like his like annoying, like she's just like this strong, and I don't, and when I say strong, I don't mean like the strong black one, but I think Bonnie as a character in general is just strong. She's just like this strong character who's just there for everybody, who will put her life on the line for everyone, and she's powerful as fuck, like powerful as hell. Like why wouldn't you want Bonnie? Like what the fuck? That's why it's so unbelievable. Oh my gosh, it absolutely, even though this video is scripted, I'm probably gonna be jumping around a lot of places. Like, I'm so sorry, this is what it's like to talk to me and be on FaceTime with me, so I hope that you understand. Like, I have a script, but I'm gonna just be talking. But my biggest pet peeve about the Vampire Diaries is that Elena gets with Matt, which is her very first boyfriend. She gets with Matt, she gets with Stefan, she gets with Damon, and they're brothers. And then Caroline, their best friend, because the trio, supposedly the trio is Bonnie, Elena, and Caroline, like supposedly, but I just never personally felt like they were really friends for real. I felt like Elena was like the middle part, and like they were friends with Elena, they were best friends with Elena, but they were friends with each other. Like they tried, like the TV show tried to like have some episodes where they're like, oh my gosh, the three of us, like we're a trio, we're a girl group. But like it never felt like that to me. Like it just never felt, it never gave that to me. But anyways, so then you have Caroline, like she got with Matt, she got with Stefan, she got with Damon, she got with Tyler. Bonnie, she got with Jeremy, who cheated on her with the ghost, and then she got back together with him and he cheated on her again. Most guys were like using her that she was getting with, and then she got with Anzo, like. And then she honestly went the most seasons without really having like a real relationship. Whereas like I feel like Elena and Caroline, like they were like back to back in relationships, and then I feel like Bonnie was just single for like such a long time. And Julie Plec tried to pull that whole like, oh, Bonnie deserved better, and I just think that's such bullshit, that like you have like such high expectations for your only black character. But it's like teens are supposed to date around, and like I'm not one of those type of people who like think that like people in friend groups like shouldn't date each other and stuff like that. I think whatever is established in your friend group is your friend group. So in your friend group, if you are like, oh well, you know, I dated Matt, you can go ahead and have him, I don't give a fuck. If that's what you already established in your friend group, then sure. But if you're, I mean, but only in high school. I think when you're an adult, like you don't need to be dating your friends' ex-boyfriends. Like I think that's like weird when you're an adult. But when you're in high school, I think it makes perfect sense, and like none of them really gave a fuck for real. So I just think that it's unfair that like Julie Plec had this whole like, oh well, Bonnie deserved better, like she didn't need to what they had. But it's like in high school, I think it's most important to date around, to get to know people, or you're gonna be like me, a 26-year-old loser who's never really had who's had boyfriends kinda sorta, but doesn't really know how to date for real. But yeah, sorry. Anyways, okay, so back to the script, girl. So originally Book Bonnie was white with red hair and Damon was white as well, but when they casted the actors, they picked Kat Graham, who is biracial, to play Bonnie Bennett. And I think in the show she's like fully black because her mom is black. It's like I know the actress is biracial, but her mom is black in the show and her dad. So in the show she plays fully black, but I'm pretty sure Kat Graham is biracial. So like as like a character, I see Bonnie Bennett as like a black character because in the show she plays fully black, but I am aware that the actress is biracial. If that does that make sense? And I think that I don't remember why the CW did this. I remember watching a video and like somebody explained why they did it. I think it was because like around that time, that's when like TV was like woke a little bit, and they kind of would cast like black characters in a TV show. And like honestly, I think that if the Vampire Diaries was as white as it was, I mean it still was pretty white, and I think that they could have done better with their diversity. But like it's like nobody lives like this, like, you know. But yeah, in the show Damon and Elena are like the main couple. I'm not too sure if in the books they ever really had a thing because I didn't make it that far in the book. I really only read the first one. The writing is not great, you guys. Like she's not great. On my script I talk about how the writers gave Bamon, like Bonnie and Damon scenes, to Damon and Elena. I couldn't find like the exact examples since I haven't read the book. There's a bathtub scene with Damon and Bonnie that the writers stole and changed and put it for Damon and Elena. Biggest question asked in the fandom is, why don't Bonnie and Damon get together even for a split second? Because they get together in the book. And like, yes, the books changed a lot. There's really nothing, like, as someone who read the first book, there's really not a lot of similarities, and there are things that are added. Like, I don't think the whole like original vampire thing was like a plot line in there. So Julie Plec and the writers of the Vampire Diaries did take a lot of liberties, but honestly, I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. I think that the main reason is racism, because as I stated before, Damon and Elena are like in game. They are in game, but that doesn't stop Damon from dating like other characters. Like, he literally dates Caroline. So the fact that like there's not even a moment where he dates Bonnie, it's just like, I'm not saying that he needs to be loving the crew or anything like that, but it's just so obvious the answer here is racism. Let's be real here. Like, from me to you, the answer here is racism. Unless you want to be an asshole and someone who's like, no, that's not the answer, then like, what the fuck ever, this video isn't for you. Like, this is for the girls, okay? There are plenty of TikToks and YouTube videos about the racism that Kat Graham went through in the show. You can't really deny that the answer is racism. There's a video on YouTube by Choice TV that I'm gonna link down below. I watched it a few years ago. It's one of my favorite like video essays, or I don't really know if it's considered a video essay, but it's one of my favorite videos on YouTube ever. So I'm gonna like leave that link down below. Like I said earlier, in the trio, Elena and Coraline got to date around. The only person who didn't get to date around was Bonnie. So like, while all the other two girls were jumping from relationship in relationship, not really having a time to be single, there were like seasons where Bonnie was just single. And like, yes, I don't believe that like in real life, I don't believe that like people should jump from relationship to relationship. I think that people should take their time to be single. But like, genuinely, there were like seasons on seasons where Bonnie was just single and like not dating anybody, whereas like her friends were like dating all the time and hooking up with guys, and then there's just Bonnie, like, and a lot of times the guys were like using her. And honestly, the only, like, she dated Jeremy, but he cheated on her with his ghost ex-girlfriend. I was talking to my friend Ashley the other night, and she made such a good point, and she was saying how like, I was saying how like, it feels so out of character that Jeremy just cheated on Bonnie, because like, he just really, it just really didn't seem like that type of guy, and he doesn't really cheat on any of his other girlfriends. So it's just like, what the fuck? And my friend Ashley made such a good point, and she was saying that like, even when he like cheated on her, like, he was so apathetic to it. Like, when Bonnie was like, why did you do that? And he was just like, I don't know. And like, even when Elena confronted him and she was like, you cheated on Bonnie, and he's just like, so. And it's just like so out of character for him, especially like when you think about like all their scenes like after that and before that, and he just cared for her so much. The fact that he just cheated on her out of nowhere, it just feels so fucked up, right? And then okay, so then Bonnie does get like her epic love out of Anzo, and you know what they do? They decapitate him. What the fuck? And the writers just hated Kat Graham. Like, Bonnie died multiple times in the show, but then the writers also realized that she was just like super powerful, and a lot of their like plot lines and things revolved around her, and they couldn't really get around, like, because they had already made her so powerful, they couldn't really get around like not having her, so then it would bring her back to life. But like, the amount of times that she died in the show was just like honestly so fucked up. And the writers hated Bonnie so much that in the sequel Legacies, so if you've never seen Legacies is a sequel to the Vampire Diaries, but also the originals. It follows Hope Michelson, who is the daughter of Klaus Michelson, right? And Legacies actually takes place in the Salvatore house, because that house was so fucking big. Like, I remember watching the Vampire Diaries, I just feel like they underutilized the Salvatore house in the Vampire Diaries, because the house was humongous. Like, one of my favorite scenes was like in the first season when Damon, I can't remember if it was Elena or Caroline, Damon was like chasing her throughout the house, and because he had got locked in the basement and like he needed like blood or whatever, and so he was like chasing her around. It was like a horror movie scene, and it was just like so good because you got to see like how big the house is. And like, I just feel like in the TV show they really underutilized like how huge the house was. You literally only see like the living room and like Stefan's room and maybe Damon's room, but that's it. And it's just like, girl. But in the Legacies, I just love Legacies because they really utilize like the house, obviously because it's a boarding school. So anyways, in Legacies they turned the Salvatore house into a boarding school, and it's a place for like witches, wizards, like any mythical creatures to go to, which I love. Like, I would love like a college series like that. That's what I wanted Winx to be on Netflix. It never gave that. We never even halfway gave. But whatever. I like Link's TV show. Like, I just wish that it was like they tried a little bit harder. But I just would love, I would just love like a college mythical creature like type of TV show. Anyways, not the point. Anyways, so in the Legacies, right, they're doing a play about Elena and like what happened with her. Do you know that they don't include Bonnie? Even though she's in the friend group, even though she saved their lives multiple times, you know what the fucking writer of the show said? The reason why the writer didn't include Bonnie in the little stupid play that they made is because she wasn't integral to the story. Mind you, later on in Legacies, they use Bonnie Bennett's spell that trapped Kai in the prison world to re-trap in the prison world, but she wasn't integral to the story. Just pure racism. Also, I really believe that like Bonnie not having as many love interests in the show as her friends really plays into like the undesirable black woman trope, and also inherently plays into the like disposable black girlfriend trope, because Bonnie did date around, but like literally the guys were just like, they just weren't as serious. A lot of them were like using her for her power or whatever, and it's just like, I just feel like it plays into like, in a lot of TV shows in the early, like a lot of TV shows are like centered around like a white audience. Also, I just realized this because I'm talking about a TV show that's a white audience. I hate whenever like I talk about like a TV show with a white audience that has a black character that's mistreated, and people are like, oh well, black people should create media of their own. Yes, they do, but black people also exist. Like, there are black people that exist in like predominantly white neighborhoods, like, and it's not by choice. It's not something that they want to do. Like, there are people who exist in these predominantly white communities, and I think that they should have their stories told. And personally, for me, I grew up in like a predominantly black school, so like I was used to watching like, I grew up in a predominantly black school, but I love media as a whole. I've always loved books, movies, and TV shows. And so for me, even though I grew up in a predominantly black school, in a predominantly black like neighborhood, I love watching like a supernatural show like the Vampire Diaries, because I love witches. I've loved witches my entire life. I went as a witch for Halloween every year for 16 years straight. So for me, seeing like black witches just meant so much to me. So if you're gonna be an asshole who's like, oh well, why do you want to see yourself in this white media or whatever, just go and get the, I think it's just really fucked up that like the writers want to paint like Bonnie as like this like undesirable like black girl, when Ian Somerhalder and Joseph Morgan, and I think also Paul Wesley, all wanted Bonnie to be with their characters. I think they all like expressed at one point that they wanted Bonnie to be with their characters, right? They wanted like just her to kiss them, to like date them, like to like whatever. They all expressed wanting that with their characters. Fans also wanted Bonnie to be with Cole, including myself, and Julie Plec didn't want to which she ended up like arguing with fans, but like through subtweets. It was like really weird. Other popular ship was Bonnie and Kai. I also shipped it. I'm sorry, I shipped the girl with everybody. Like, I already told y'all, like, I ship her with everybody. I don't give a damn. She has too much chemistry with all these characters for it to be wasted. Like, what? I guess Stefan and Bonnie were also a popular ship, which like I never saw that. Like, they kind of gave like more like best friend energy to me. But hey, I'm not gonna knock, and I could probably get behind it if I read enough fan fictions. That's one thing about me, is unless the character does something like morally questionable, I pretty much can get behind anything with a little bit of convincing from fan fiction. I just want to mention all these ships so I can just put all these pictures. I have a bunch of like pictures on my Pinterest of like behind the scenes of the Vampire Diaries, so I just wanted an excuse to like put these pictures on the screen. And if you want to follow me on Pinterest, I'll leave a link down below, because I have Pinterest boards for like movies, books, TV shows. Like, I have a specific Pinterest account for, I have a personal Pinterest account for like me, duh, and then I have like one for like media, because I love media. So if you want to follow that one, I'll leave it linked down below. There's this interview where Julie Plec says that Bonnie doesn't get with Damon because Bonnie has so much more integrity, and I just think that's so crazy, because what does that say about how you feel about your own main character? Because Damon did some really fucked up things to Elena. Like, let's not forget about when he killed Jeremy and pretended that he knew that Jeremy had that ring on his finger that like brought him back to life. Damon did not know that Jeremy had that fucking ring on his finger. He just pretended like he did, and Elena was like, oh, okay, like, I forgive you. Like, okay, but you're admitting that this ship is fucked up and you know it. You just don't want them together because, and then also another thing is, I remember Julie Plec tweeted, and this was recent, Julie Plec tweeted that she would have wanted Stefan and Elena to be endgame. The writer. But what they were just so obsessed with, like, the idea of Elena and Damon, that there could just possibly be no way that she could get back with Stefan. And it's like, you could have made Stefan and Elena get together, that way Bonnie and Damon could have gotten together. But no, because I don't know, like, personally, I saw it from the jump. Like, I saw it from like season 3. Like, there's a specific scene, there's a specific scene, they were going to like a 80s dance or something, and Damon goes up to Bonnie, and this is when Bonnie's dating, or she's either dating Jeremy or they're like about to date or something, they had like a lot of weird, you know, something is, but she was with Jeremy basically, and Damon walks up and he's behind her and they're like dancing, an intimidating conversation, but the way that the dance looks to everyone else, like, it looks so friendly, but like, it's intimidating, and it's just like enemies to lovers fucking excellence. I know a lot of people saw like Bonnie and Damon as a ship when they go to the prison world together, and that's like later in the seasons. That's like season like 7, I think. You know, a lot of people like saw them as a ship then, which, like, yes, I agree. And it was the perfect moment, because in that season basically what happens is Bonnie and Damon get put prison world together, and the prison world is just like kind of like between hell and earth, but like it's like basically Earth, but like nobody else is on it but just the two of them, so they think. And then they end up running into Kai, who is like super fucking evil, and he's a villain. And because they were stuck together, they end up forming this friendship. And I really appreciate that. One thing I did appreciate that the writers did was they kept that friendship. So it wasn't just like some, yeah, we were in the prison world together, but like, don't fucking talk to me ever again, bitch. Like, it was like, no, they were in the prison world together, and it actually made them like best friends. Like, there's even a point when Damon is like, you are my best friend. Like, it just means everything to me. So basically after that, I think like a few seasons later, or a season later, Kai ends up putting a curse on Elena and Bonnie, where Elena is like put to sleep, and the only way for her to wake up is for Bonnie to die. And Damon wants to kill her, but because they're best friends, they don't. And it's like, that would have been the perfect moment for them to explore romance. Like, that moment when Elena was killed off and it was just Bonnie and Damon, that would have been the perfect moment for them to explore romance. But no, I think she was she with Anzo at that point? She could have been, actually. So maybe, I don't give a fuck. Let's be real, I don't. And like, according to my resources being my friend, who also is just obsessed with Vampire Diaries, according to my resources, during the time when they were stuck in the prison world, Ian Somerhalder and Kat Graham used to like post stuff on Instagram being like, ooh, what's gonna happen this week, hashtag Bamon, or like, oh my gosh, stay tuned for this week, guys. Like, baiting people into thinking that the ship was gonna happen. Julie Plec says she actually, that whole thing, the prison world thing, is like a trial run to see if like they had chemistry, which we fucking know that they did, but it just didn't happen, she said. And also, I want to reiterate, because I had this in my notes, just because I'm a fan of the ship doesn't mean I'm a fan of Damon. So any points you want to make about Damon and how he's a terrible person and blah, 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 I agree. I actually hate Damon. I think he's super arrogant. I think he's stupid. I really hate how he doesn't give a fuck about anybody but Elena. He was willing to kill everybody just to make sure Elena is safe. I think that that's super selfish. And at least with Stefan, because Stefan knew that, and it wasn't even that Stefan knew that Elena cared about so many people, but he just also cared about people, that like, he wanted to make sure everybody in the situation was safe. Whereas Damon would rather everyone fucking die so that Elena can live. And then as the seasons go on, he only starts to save people because he knows how it would affect Elena. Not because he cares about them, but because he knows how it would affect them. And I think he's just a super selfish person. I think he's really fucking weird. And you're probably like, why do you ship him with Bonnie? The chemistry. Like, sorry. Also, it's a vampire show, so I think my morals with vampire shows is a little bit like iffy, because we all know that I don't ship Chuck and Blair, because I think that Chuck is an abuser sexually, and like, you know, because with the Vampire Diaries, because it's like a fantasy setting, like vampires don't fucking exist, and if vampires were real, they would be a lot more heinous than what they are in the Vampire Diaries. So for that, speaking of the reason why I hate Damon, the reason why I also ship them is because even though Damon doesn't give a fuck about anybody else, Bonnie does. And I think that Bonnie brings out that side of him that makes him care about other people more. Whereas with Elena, to me, and I could be wrong, but this is just how it feels like for me personally. To me, it just feels like with Elena, he only saves people because he knows how much it'll like make her happy or how upset she'll be if they die. Whereas with Bonnie, he genuinely is like, no, like I care about these people and I want them to be. I feel like I'm doing the Italian hands, but he's like, I care about these people and I want them to be safe. Whereas with Elena, it's like, I don't want her to be sad. I do get why it really doesn't happen, because Bonnie and Elena are best friends, and because at that point, like at the prison world point, like Elena and Damon had been together for so long. So it's like, I definitely understand why like it didn't happen. But also, if Julie Plec was using like the prison world arc to see if they had chemistry, it clearly didn't fucking matter. Like Damon and Stefan were brothers and Elena dated both. So if she couldn't really be mad if she decided to go back to if Elena decided to go back to Stefan and then Bonnie and Damon started dating. Elena couldn't really be mad because Elena's jumping from brother to brother, like, and that's okay narrative wise. That's all for this video. I think I've talked all that I can talk. I really love Bonnie and Damon. Let me know if you want to see like more of these type of videos where I talk about like my favorite ships and like break them down and like just talk about like the lore behind it and stuff like that, because this was actually really fun. And I'm actually really sad. I was saving this video for like Halloween time, but I can do more videos. There's a video I want to do where I want to talk about how I personally think that Julie Plec purposely ruined Vampire Academy, which was like another show. I think that she purposely ruined that because that one also had like a black girl as the main character, and I think that she didn't really want to write that. And anyways, I will have to do like more thinking on like how I want to write that video, but I do want to do that. Let me know if you would be interested in that, because the Vampire Academy, or maybe I'll do like a curse, like Vampire Academy is like curse type of video, because it has multiple flops at this point. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.